Alrighty, folks. So this is going to be an overview of my commercial products group 450D Vibratone horn. So let's take a look at it. Alright, so as you can see, it looks just like your typical Vibratone. It's got the filled-in grill like most of them have. But this is not at all even close to a normal Vibratone. And I'm going to show you why here in a few minutes. So, first thing you'll probably notice is this device has a silver sounder plate, which is not completely out of order for a 450D because the really late model ones do have a silver sounder plate. But that's also not what this is. So, let's dive a little deeper. So right here I have my Federal Signal 450D. And as you can see, the two horns look almost identical. The only difference is this one's a slightly different color. It has a black sounder plate and it's got a hole in the top. The hole in the top is irrelevant because some of them don't have that, and the color is also irrelevant. The major difference, though, is that this one has a black sounder plate and this one has a silver. But that's not all that's different about these horns. So, on the normal Vibratone, as you can see, it's got the standard style label right here that says Federal Vibratone, the big label that basically covers the whole bottom of the horn. So let's take a look at this label. As you can see, it looks completely different. It says Commercial Products Group 450D horn. There's two patent numbers right here, which I will elaborate on here in a minute. But I'm just going to leave that alone for right now. Model 450D, amps. It actually does not have an amp rating on there. Volts, DC, Series D1. Now that is what's so different about this horn. So what exactly does Series D1 mean? Because normally they're Series B, B4. As you can see, they also had a B1, B2, and B3. So what is the Series D1, you may be asking? Well, let's find out. So, the normal 450D mechanism that we're all used to seeing looks like this. The typical with the big old metal part right there and the pigtail wires. So, what's this one look like? Well, let's see what it looks like. Okay, get ready for a surprise. In 3, 2, 1. Yep. It does, in fact, have a Faraday mechanism on the back of it, which is very, very interesting, that a Federal Signal horn has a Faraday mechanism. So, let's prove that it's a Faraday mechanism. Right here is my Simplex 2901-9833. As you can see, these two mechanisms look very, very, very similar. This one's slightly older, and it's got different terminals, and the main difference is this one uses a set of switch contacts to create the pulses. This one uses a circuit board, which makes this a lot lower pitch than this one. But other than that, they're almost identical. And this horn in its original form is made by Faraday. It's called a Faraday 6020. But that's not all I have. This right here is my Simplex 4903-9217. So what does it look like on the back? It looks identical to this. These two mechanisms are identical. And this is also a Faraday-made device. Faraday used this mechanism on a lot of their different stuff. Various horn strobes, various horns, all had this mechanism. So why on earth did Federal Signal use Faraday mechanisms? I have no idea. But as you can see, these are identical. They even have the little slot at the top right there. They both have the T. I mean, they are exactly the same. All the circuit components look very, very similar, like almost identical. These are strobe hookups. This one has it too, as you can see the little things right there. Same exact label. Same number here. And another thing I want to point out. Move the 9217 out of the way. And also the 450D. Another thing I want to point out with these devices. Take a look at the labels. They're the same size and the exact same shape. So, this device not only has a Faraday mechanism, it also has a Faraday label, which I think is really unique and really interesting. Now, let's get on to these patent numbers. As you can see, there's two right there. Both of these patent numbers belong to Federal Signal. One of them is for the grill of the horn, and the other one is for the body. But neither of them belong to this mechanism. Also, another thing I want to point out. This makes no mention of Federal Signal anywhere on it. Doesn't have a logo, doesn't have nothing except for the patent numbers. The patent numbers are the only thing that would lead you to believe that it has anything to do with Federal Signal. The amperage is actually not listed on here, but I'm pretty sure it is the same as this. And I don't know if this one is labeled. It is 0.33 to 0.033 to 0.047. So I would assume that this one is exactly the same. Listed 89 RL, which I don't know if this one has. No, this one says something different. I don't know exactly what that means. It's probably irrelevant. But these are like dead on identical. Also, another thing I want to point out. It's really hard to see, but it says patent pending on the back of the mechanism. So does this one, which means somebody else made it. And that company would be Faraday. So I'm not sure whether Federal Signal made the grill and the body and bought mechanisms from Faraday and stuck them in there, or whether Faraday manufactured this entire horn. I wonder if Faraday didn't make the whole thing because it's painted very, very similar to the 9833. Like, eerily similar. Same texture, same everything. So I have a feeling that Faraday could have manufactured this whole horn for Federal Signal, which is really, really unique. I don't know if Federal Signal gave up the rights to make this horn to Faraday. I don't know how that works, but just a really, really odd, interesting device. This also sounds exactly like a 9217 or anything with this mechanism. Has a real raspy sound like most of them do, and it's really low pitch. So I just wanted to show off this real interesting, very unique, very odd Vibratone. So thanks for watching.